Good evening, everyone, and happy Thursday. Today's the day where we have our show and we have a lot of fun, interactivity, and connecting. It's good to be back, and I hope you guys are doing well. My name is Melissa Jane, and I am your friendly digital marketing strategist. I help you to market your own business quick and easy without any fuss. All right, so we're just going to get into it after we do a quick countdown to give you guys a chance to come on in. We'll have a quick countdown and I will be back in about 3 minutes. So I will see you in a short while. Please go ahead and share and tell a friend about it. All right, see you in a second. Welcome, 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 everyone. Facebook literally kicked me out of my own show. Can you imagine? How are you guys doing? Are we back? Are you guys here? Drop me a message if you are here and you can see and hear everything well. Just want to make sure that we are running as we should be because Facebook is a trip sometimes. So let me know. Let me know if you're here. Just drop your name in the chat room and let us know. Welcome, Aurel. Welcome to Gary Dixon. Welcome to all of you guys who are here. Novelty is here. Good to have you, Novelty. Thank you so much for joining us. And Gary says, I sound good. Marva's here. Welcome, Marva. Good to have you, Miss Health and Fitness Lady. It's nice to have you. Let me go over and check in my Facebook group and see if anybody is over there, because that is the group that does not show the names. So if you're in any of the private groups, you will have to. I see Veronica's here. Laverne dear, welcome. Shedley, welcome to you, my dear. Doing big things. Hugh Osborne, how are you doing, sir? Nice to have you with us tonight. We're going to have a great show. We are going to have such a good show tonight. If you wouldn't mind, would you just put a few people's names in the comments and tag them so that they can come and join us as well? That would be lovely to have a few more people. It's good to have you guys there, but it would be nice to have a few more, because we're going to have an amazing guest coming up in about 20 minutes or so. Well, my name is Melissa Jane, and I am your friendly digital marketing strategist. It's good to be back. And what I have for you today will help you with your graphic design projects. Hey, Althea, welcome to you. Brad. Okay, hello, Brad. Thank you. Yes, tag a few more people to have them come on in. This is awesome. Awesome. Michelle Jones. Chef Jones is here. Chef Jones, it's been a long time, my lady. It's been a long time. I haven't seen you. How are you doing? As a matter of fact, how you all doing? Tell me how you're feeling. Just put it in the chat room how you're feeling tonight. How you're feeling right now. How you feeling seeing my smiling face? How you feeling? That's always a good thing to see you guys commenting and, getting engaged in the chat room, because, it just makes it nicer. It just makes it so much nicer when you're all contributing to the show. Marie Mackenzie's here. Gary's feeling fantabulous. Marva's awesome. Awesome. Novelty says, yes, Novelty's tagging a couple of people. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to have a little bit of, I'm going to give you a few tips before I bring up our guest, who is so punctual. I love that. I see him in the waiting room, so I'm going to let him hang out in the waiting room for just a few minutes. All right, Marcia Demers, welcome to you. Althea says, I'm feeling marvelous, fabulous, great, amazing, talented, grateful. Yes, you are talented, Althea. So proud of you, my dear. All right, so I have a few things for you. Let's go ahead and bring up what I have for you guys. I am going to be giving you just 5 tips. I was doing a course. I was teaching a class this week. And during that class, the class was actually digital graphic design with Canva. And during that class, I gave about 4 tips of where to find some tools, some free tools that can help you with your graphic design projects. So that's what I'd like to share with you right now. Okay, guys. So free digital tools for graphic design. This can just help you to enhance your design as you're designing something. Maybe it's a flyer, it's a book, it's a digital product that you're planning to sell. It could be anything like that. All right. So here we go. Number 1. The first one is, of course, Canva. This is the program that everybody's using right now. It is, number 1, it's free. There's a free version and there's a paid version, but you can do so much with the free version. It's really easy and intuitive to use. You don't need to have any type of degree or anything like that. It's very intuitive. You can figure most of it out for yourself. Or if you need someone to help you along, that's where I come in. I can help you. But it's really easy. You can probably figure it out by yourself. There are thousands and thousands of templates. You don't have to start from scratch. You can use a template and just modify the text, the graphics, the colors to your liking. You can create ebooks, you can create your marketing materials, all for free. You don't have to pay somebody else to do it once you learn this skill. You can create slides just like what I'm showing you right now. You can create slides to present. It looks snazzy. It looks really, really good. A contact slide if you're going to be on a show like mine and things like that. You can design pretty much anything you put your mind to decide to create. And then you could also do video ads, all sorts of things. I would encourage you to check out Canva, one of the #1 graphic programs out there for the non-designer. All right, after you finish playing with it, you will be a designer. All right, so the next tool is Bitly, bit.ly. If you don't have your own website just yet and you're using like a different platform to build your website and your URL is really, really long, you can actually shorten that down using something like Bitly. If again you design something in Canva and it's really, really long, it could be like 200 characters long. You can actually shorten it down to 5 or 10 characters using something like Bitly. Really, really cool tool. You can create your custom URLs and you can also track the activity on your URL. So for example, I have a free ebook out there and I want to know how many people are actually clicking on the link, which I've created a short Bitly link. How many people are clicking on it? I can track the activity in Bitly. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 is remove.bg. Now, if you're using the free version of Canva, you can't actually remove the background. But of course, I had to find another way, another tool, another way around that. There's a website called remove.bg. And all you need to do is drop your image that has a background and it automatically removes the background really, really quickly and easily. And you just download your graphic that doesn't have a background anymore and you can add it to whatever design you want to put together. So that is really, really good. Okay, the next one is smart mockups. Now, if you were tuned into the show last week, I did a demonstration on smart mockups, and it's there in my private Facebook group. The private Facebook group is called Digital Marketing Made Easy, and you can go over there and watch that. It's like about a 5-minute video to show you how to do that. You can visualize your designs using smart mockups. It's kind of a program that helps you to just enhance your designs. For example, if you designed a book or a book cover and you just want to see how it looks on a table or on a bookshelf, you can design it to look like that. And it really just sort of brings your designs to life. You can design things like books, mugs, t-shirts, etc. Posters. You can see how it's going to look in sort of like real time. So it's called Smart Mockups, and it's really, really cool. It helps you to design your digital products. All right, the next one is Pexels.com. Pexels.com is absolutely fantastic. Why? Because you can download royalty-free images and videos to help you again to design your graphics, your projects. You can get high quality, and I'm talking high resolution images and videos, put them together for your designs, and it looks spectacular. Just like the video that I showed at the beginning of this slideshow. And this is a slideshow also made in Canva. There are thousands of people of color. Sometimes you're designing something as people of color. You might just type in, office, and you want to see a mixture of, people of color and all the different kinds of shades of people. A lot of the times you can't find them, but it's definitely with Pexels.com, you can find a lot of people of color, especially if you put in African American, and then whether you're looking for example, African American office or African American credit card. You can find images that reflect us. There's so many things out there you can download. All right, all types of subjects, all subjects. If you have any questions about this, drop them in the chat room. We still have a couple of minutes. All right, I'm going to come back to those comments in a second. Right, I think those are all the free tools I have to tell you about. So if you want, so I was telling you that I did a course, a training this week. And in that training, I demonstrated all of these tools. If you want to get hold of that video, it's about 15 minutes where I show you how to use those tools. Go on over to my private Facebook group. It's called Digital Marketing Made Easy. It's a private Facebook group, but it's free. You can join there, and the video is there right now. Go over and check that out, okay? And there's actually quite a lot of other videos there. So go and join that group. You can find, I actually put new videos there every week. Tips, strategies, techniques, and we have a good time in that group, all right? So if you're new to that group, I want to say again, welcome to the group, and we are going to ramp it up in 2021, all right? What else do I have for you? I always have some goodies for you. Well, that class that I was telling you about, which I held on Tuesday, I will be holding it again. If you want the live class, then let me know and we'll put together a live class for you. But if you want the on-demand class where you can just take it by yourself and just go through it, at your own leisure, I have that too. You can just do it by yourself. If you're interested in either of those options, it's graphic design with Canva. You get all those lessons and all those tools that I've just spoke about, a lot more. I teach you everything you need to know about Canva. And the class is actually about 2 hours long, and there's still more to know. But if you want access to that, or if you're interested in that, get in touch with me and I'll show you how you can get that. All right. One more thing, I think I have one more thing. Yes, what I'm sort of pushing until the end of this month is this course here. I want to make it big here. 5 reasons why you need an email list now and how to get started. I have a free ebook. If you're interested in this free ebook, it's a quick read. It's only about 10 pages long. Very quick, gives you some tips on why you should be using an email list. If you want that, just go to melissajane.com and click on the first button that you see. All right. Is that everything? That's everything I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me check the time. Let me see if I have any questions in the chat room. It's good to have you all. Novelty, Reggae Ellis is here, Althea. Little chit chat going on in the chat room. Any questions for me? Anybody's talking to me? I love that tool. Use it all the time. That's probably Canva. I wonder which one you're talking about. Oh, this is some excellent info. You better believe it, Althea. Awesome, says Facebook user. Let's see what else. Yes. Let's see. I've used Pixels and it's great, says Novelty. Yes, indeed, Novelty. I know you have. Rochelle Davis, thank you so much. That's nice. You like that, huh? Awesome. Very informative, Melissa Jane. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night. She is such a great teacher. Thank you, Oral. Oral is one of my excellent students. So nice to have you. Novelty says, absolutely. Thank you so much. And you guys who have received my training before, do go ahead and tell a friend, tell people about me. You know, I can always use referrals, as we were talking, Dr. Salters was talking about this yesterday, and it's part of my evaluation. If you guys tell people that I'm doing a great job, then I will get more clients. All right. So Althea says, I want you live and in living color. I'm contacting you as soon as I get off it. Thank you, Althea. Yes, the live classes are just much more fun I make it fun, just like the show. Sometimes I actually go into show mode. It's actually supposed to be training, but we have a lot of fun there. Absolutely love Canva, says Gary. And your class is Gary saved a lot of money by creating his graphics in Canva. All right, let me check the time. I think it's about time to bring up our guest. But before we do, let us go to a few commercials. We've got to just tell you about a few things. So last week, if you remember, I had Sierra and Lionel Hilaire on the show, and they were talking about this Sons of Samson. It's a fundraiser, and it's a what is it again? It's a like a conference for men and boys. There's always conferences and workshops and so forth for the women and girls, but how often do we see the things for the boys and the men? So they're putting something on. It's called Sons of Samson, Men and Boys Virtual Fundraiser, and we have some really amazing guests on here. But the time is 12 on January 30th, which is Saturday. So do try to make a point to go check that out. Check out their Facebook page. Their Facebook page, it's Sierra Hilaire and Lionel Hilaire. You can find their Facebook pages, or go to divinepotentialservices.org to learn more about that project. All right. So we're going to have a tiny little break. It's only about 20 seconds or so, and we will be right back with Dr. Salters. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. 5 reasons why you need an email list now and how to get started. Grab hold of my free ebook at melissajade.com.
I just want to take you away, look deep into your eyes, sink into your skin.
Good evening and welcome to MJ Live. This is the Business Connections edition, and I'm so happy to have another exciting guest for you. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're all doing well tonight, and we shall get to your comments very, very soon. I'm just about to bring up our guest. You was asking me to pin my contact. I will do that in a little while, okay? I'll do that in a little while. Thank you so much for that. So you guys doing well? All right, here we go. Let's bring up our guest. Dr. Salters, how are you tonight?
I am doing well, and how are you doing?
I am doing fabulous. It's so nice to have you. It's been a long time coming, I'll tell you.
Yes, it has been, but all things happen in their correct time.
That's right. So how was your day, first of all?
It has been a hectic day. A lot of things going on, but it was one of those days, when you're living in your purpose and you're doing that, it's not a bad day. I had the opportunity teaching procedural justice and the art of connecting at the Fort Lauderdale Police Department. So that's me in my element, serving my purpose and enjoying it. So a great day.
Excellent. Nice. So let's give you your official introduction. All right. So Dr. Salters, Dr. Gregory A. Salters is a success and leadership coach. He is a major with the Fort Lauderdale Police Department with over 27 years experience. Dr. Salters served as an adjunct professor at Miami-Dade College, School of Justice, Florida International University, and Broward County Institute for Public Safety. He is also a certified John C. Maxwell coach, speaker, and trainer. Dr. Salters prepares individuals for success. Let's give Dr. Salters a hearty welcome in the chat room, guys. Please let him feel welcome. Yeah! we don't have a live audience, so we gotta make it work, right?
Yes, indeed.
So Dr. Salters, I've been watching you in our community, just doing such great things. I mean, in so many different areas. Uh, I mean, obviously, I've given you the sort of official introduction, but could you just tell us a little bit about yourself in sort of more of a personal type of way?
Okay, definitely. What I often do is I tell people my law enforcement title is what I do, but definitely not who I am. And so many individuals get caught up with what their titles are, and people look at them and that's what they do. And I also look at it, I say, when you're looking out there and when you're talking to your business community, a lot of times you're talking to entrepreneurs, but a lot of times people do not realize that everybody is an entrepreneur by nature because the definition of an entrepreneur is someone that is in business for him or herself. And I think from day one, we're all in business for ourselves, whether we realize it or not. And many times, people on your audience, they may be in business and looking at it as an entrepreneur. I say, I'm in business for Dr. Gregory A. Salters. So while I'm at the police department, I'm doing whatever it takes for the police department to keep me there. And when I'm out in the community, doing whatever it takes for the community to continue bringing me out there. And so behind that, I am a graduate of Florida A&M University, came out of their business school. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I'm a member of Prince Hall Masons. I enjoy being out there in the community. And my vision or mission statement I take from Dr. Martin Luther King: if I can help somebody as I pass along the way, my living will not be in vain. And when you talk about the colleges, FAMU is the undergrad. It set that foundation with that HBCU, and we've seen a lot about that going on now. Then
Yes.
my master's is my public administration is FAU, and FIU is my doctorate in adult ed and human resource development.
Oh, wonderful. Well-rounded personal person, I would say. All right. So today, I particularly brought you on to just talk about a subject that we can all learn from. And we're going to be talking about finances today. So I'm going to let you lead, and I'll just interject from time to time, I have something to sort of, contribute.
Outstanding. I greatly appreciate it. And I know when we were talking, we are saying, what is it that your audience could really use and what is it that we could talk about? Because you have a diverse audience, and we started thinking about things. And I said, what about the finances? And when you start talking about finances, it is very interesting because a lot of times you hear people talk about budgets, but if you don't know how to budget, you don't really know how to set up your business. You don't know how to set up your personal budget. So in the short time we have tonight, what I'm going to do is give you some nuggets, give us some things that we need to talk about from both a personal standpoint and also a business standpoint, because the two are very similar. What I'd like to do is think about budgeting, and let's think about your time that you have. And we can also think about it. Sometimes you might have a schedule, and when we're in college, you'd say, I go to this class between this time and that time, and so on and so forth. And I'm also going to give us a challenge, what I would like people to do going forward, because sometimes that which is not monitored does not occur, but that which you do monitor, you're able to manage. And it's kind of like on last night when I was talking to you about the evaluations and how are an evaluator as a sole business person. There are lots of ways to evaluate it. But let's talk about our money right now. When you're looking at your money, do you know where every dollar goes? Or are we the type of individuals that we get some money and then after we spend it, we wonder where it went? When you're looking at your money, every dollar that you have, you should be giving each dollar an assignment.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, whether that assignment is your mortgage, your car, your must-haves, it should have an assignment. And what I found with a lot of individuals, we don't budget because we tend to think that we're going to have enough money. And some people are still thinking about how they have more month at the end of their money. So what we end up doing is looking at things. And when I look at your budget and how things are spent, I can tell what's most important to you. That's whether or not you are an individual, and it's also whether or not you are a business. When you look at a business and you begin to look and see where their funds are spent, that lets you know exactly what is most important to them. So as we begin to walk through this process and walk through and talk about our finances, and people talk about money is the root of all evil, I will believe to tell you money is not the root of all evil, but the love of money is the root of all evil.
Right,
And
right.
many times individuals begin to look at money and they say, what can money do for me? I'm not really after money. Many of us are not after money. We're after what money will provide.
Yes.
And when you talk to people, sometimes it's not so much things that individuals buy. We talk to individuals and say, what is it? And Melissa, your thing that you do with money may be travel. Mine may be dealing with cars, maybe dealing with whatever. or whatever makes you happy, and how do you deal with it? And you begin to talk about the money. And then you have different things that are going on, and we say, are we investors or are we spenders? And it's kind of interesting when you look out in society, the individuals that when you look at them a lot of time visually, they may not look as though they have money. And some you may look at and they are all designer down. When you look at their net worth, that's their revenue minus their expenses. The one that looked as though they didn't have money many times has more net worth or more assets than the one that looked like $1 million and had a lot of designer things.
Very true. Very true.
So we have to start looking at it and saying, if you ever noticed individual, and this one I worked in banking. That's the other thing I forgot to mention.
Oh,
And when I came
really?
out of college, my background is banking and finance. I came out of college, out of Florida A&M's business school. I worked in banking. It was CNS National Bank at the time. I finished their management training program. Then I had my own insurance and financial planning company. So I worked with individuals in the world of insurance and financial planning and how you use insurance to transfer wealth and do intergenerational transfer of wealth, and how sometimes when you're giving endowments, many times we work with churches. So therefore, Melissa, you may have a life insurance policy, and instead of you naming your significant other as the 100% beneficiary, you may name the church as a partial beneficiary. So when you pass, a portion of that goes to your church. And we were even structuring that to where the churches were buying the money with your tithe. So therefore, your purchase was really being tax deductible and going to the church. So we did some things like that to
Oh,
really show some organizations how they can grow. And that is what endowments effectively do with large institutions. But
yeah.
when we're talking about money right here for our people that are with us right now,
Mhm.
what I would like you to do, if you have not really been watching your money, I would love for individuals to do for 1 week, write down every dollar that you spend, where it goes. And at the end of the week, look and see where your money went. And that will tell you where you have been spending your money. And you may be surprised. And some of us that are not using cash, you will be using the debit cards or your credit cards. And one thing you'll notice is that psychologically, when we use our debit cards or credit cards, we do not feel the pain as much as when we use actual cash, just psychologically,
Mhm.
because you're just swiping a card, swiping a card. It's a lot different than taking out a 10, a 5, or a 20, paying for something. So even if you're using your debit or credit card, that will provide you with your receipts. I need you to be writing those things down. And then at the end of that week, you look back and you see how much money have we wasted? How much could we have spent? And depending on what your philosophy is in life, I'm a Christian, so therefore 10%, that top 10% goes to God. That's my tithe.
Mhm.
Then after that, are you paying yourself? And then are you paying your bills? Or do we have things all out of order to where
Mm,
you end up paying your bills and start saving and investing with whatever is left? You
mm.
need to start investing up front and paying the bills and living below your means. And those are some things we're doing as an individual. And to my business owners, when we start looking at things as a business owner, and this is also a plug for having your business, do you realize that if you are an individual, what you're calling an expenditure or just a cost, kind of like even your cell phone bill? If you're just an individual, that's just a bill, a cell phone bill. But if you are a business, a sole proprietor, LLC, that now becomes a business expense that you can write off for the business purposes that you have. As an
Mhm.
asterisk, I am not your CPA, so you may wish to seek your own accounting advice and legal advice. So therefore, but I do know that those become business expenses that you can deduct from your income. And it really is good for those individuals that are working full-time jobs and have a business that they're going on the side, because your business expenses help reduce your income from your 40 or 60-hour a week job. And I have been doing that for years, using the expenses of my business to reduce my overall tax liability because it reduced the taxes on my job at the police department. So there's
Right.
some benefits of a business. When you have a business, those things that are normally just expenses for an individual are now business write-offs. So you begin to have those little things. And I know, Melissa, I can go on and on about these
Yeah.
little things.
I was just gonna say, would you, even though not everybody may have the aptitude for business, would you just still encourage everybody to have a business, even if it's just an on the side, even if it's not obviously going full time yet? Would you encourage everybody to have a business?
I will put it like this. There's nothing that is for everybody, but I will tell you, when you say a business aptitude, there are many individuals that I might not have the business aptitude. Kind of like I don't have the aptitude to do my designer stuff, but I'm smart enough to connect with you so you can do it. So I may not have the business aptitude, but I believe that I can get over and do things. And sometimes people think that a business means that you're making millions of dollars a year. If you look at it statistically, many businesses fail within the first 5 years, but that didn't mean the owners couldn't write off those expenses for the first 5 years.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a good way to look at it.
So you begin to look at it, and what are you looking at, and what are you really trying to do? And even this in these pandemics and what we have right now, you can start a business and you can be hiring family members to do things and you're paying them. And that's a whole different way to which we can be saving funds. And so now when you're looking at these things that are going on, you'll be surprised. And it is so crazy in this world that we're living in with this community of YouTube and everything else. You
Yes.
have 12-year-olds that started doing videos that go viral and they're getting an income from doing videos playing video games.
Right. I know it's crazy. I want to address a couple of comments that came into the chat room.
Yes.
We waste a lot of we waste a lot on credit card interest. I'll just jump in with that. I think it's so important to try to not even carry a balance on credit cards, because all of that interest. You're right, Marva. You waste so much money on the interest, whereas if you just use the credit card, so at least you have credit. If you think credit's important, some people don't, but at the same time, paid off at the end of the month, so you don't have to pay interest. What do you say to that, Dr. Gregory?
I will tell you one time, you have good interest and bad interest. And these are the things you have to look at. And this is where you start differentiating between those that have a business and those who have a business, because there's good credit and bad credit. And a lot of times when you're talking about the interest rates on credit cards, when you have a business and you have a good credit, sometimes the cost of a credit card, the loan rate may be less than what it is to invest the funds. But that's when we're getting to a much higher level of investing and using those cards. But
Right.
when you're talking about those that are just starting out and talking about your general credit cards, definitely I will say do not pay that interest on the credit cards, because that interest is so high. And sometimes that causes you to pay astronomical. And one of the other things that you will also notice is, what have you done to make sure your credit is good? You'll see a lot of individuals out there talking about credit repair and so on and so forth. When you begin to look at it, if you have great credit, you don't pay the same as anybody else. And I tell people, for instance, when I bought my house, there was a gentleman that bought the same exact house, same exact model, but he had been through a divorce and had a whole lot of credit issues. Because of his interest rate, he was almost paying $1,000 more a month for the house, just
Wow.
because of how much the interest is. You look at it in terms of cars, and it might not have been 1,000, but you even look at it when you're buying your cars.
Uh-huh.
The difference between a 0% loan because you have great credit and then a 10% loan on the same car at a buy here, pay here lot can be the difference between driving a Mercedes and driving a Toyota. Both are outstanding vehicles, but they're definitely different in cost. But if you have tremendously bad credit, you would be driving a lesser type car, paying the same as someone that's driving a much nicer perceived vehicle.
Mm. So going back to something else that you mentioned about every dollar has an assignment. Every dollar
Yes.
has somewhere to go. I remember when I was paying off my house several years ago, because the house is paid off now. But at that time, I was so laser focused on making sure every single dollar went somewhere. And I think it was within 7 or 9 years, the house was paid off. But that was when I was laser focused. Now, because I don't have a mortgage, I'm just kind of lax with it. But do you still believe that it's still key, even if you're not sort of actively going after something, to have this dollar going everywhere? Just still think it's important.
Yes, I do. I look at that just like we do with our own individual time. You should have your time budgeted out to what it is that you're doing. And it's interesting that you mentioned paying off your house, because just as all these issues have pros and cons and different people saying different things, some people say, no, don't pay off your house because that's your largest thing that you'll have to write off with the mortgage interest and the your interest expense, and your mortgage taxes, then you don't want to write it off because you lose that. So why'd you pay it off? Some people don't want to pay it off for that, but you're like, okay, well, for me and what I have, it's there. And knowing you the way that I know you, once you do things from a habit and you create a habit of having dollars assigned, at that particular time, you had the dollars assigned to the house. I bet you right now, if I were to sit down with you, you may not have done it actually, but every dollar that you have is going someplace and you know where it's going. It's not like, oh, wow, I can't believe it. I got this dollar. Whether it is going into some other investment into yourself personally, going into one of your businesses, going into the investment in your house, investment in other things that you have those assignments. You
You're
just
right.
now, because it's become such of a habit, you don't have to write it
I-
down as much to
right.
get that habit.
I don't have to think about it. Yeah, it became a habit. You're absolutely right about that. Wow.
Correct.
All right, let's see if we have any more comments in the chat room. I pay all my bills with my credit card and pay the credit card at the, on payday. Yeah, that's a good habit to have.
Wait, now I want to go back to that one.
Sure.
One of the things that you have to look at that she didn't state on there, and I don't know whether or not she's taken advantage of it. And one of the credit cards that I have, it gives you all of these rebates and everything for the amount of money that you spend on them.
Mm-hmm.
So now when
Like,
you begin
like points.
yes, you get those points, you get rebates, and you get all of that. So if you have credit cards that are out there, some of them where the beginning part of it is called capital, we'll leave the other part of it out. They have all these credit cards that gives you points, gives you dollars and all of that. So now you think about it, you're using it smartly because now you pay it all on the credit card. Because if you got to pay the bill anyway, why not pay it with the credit card and then just write a check to the credit card
and then
and
get some back,
wiping it out, and it's just going in a circle. So therefore, you're taking full benefit of the credit card. You're getting that. In effect, you're getting a discount on all of your purchases. So that is a very smart move, and you need to be checking the credit cards that you use and make sure they are the best for you.
Right. You get double points on some you get cash back and all that kind of stuff. And isn't it safer to use a credit card as opposed to a debit card?
Yes, you bring that up, and I'm glad that you brought that up because you use a debit card, you don't have the same protections, and you can go over and contest a purchase as you can with a credit card. Also, you need to be very careful. I don't know whether anyone has made the mistake as I have done. I went to rent a car one time and I'm just thinking, okay, it's a Visa. So here, you can use my debit card. They take it out whenever. But when you use that debit card, they will lock up like $500 on the account. I don't know about you all, but there's certain times in my life that I really just can't afford to have $500 locked up in my checking account while they're waiting to clear something.
Right.
Whereas when you use a credit card, it does not lock up or put a hold on your actual money.
Yeah.
So that's all over there on the credit card. So the credit card definitely gives you some protections that the debit card does not.
Good. Bi-monthly payments on mortgage is a great benefit.
Yes, it is. And when you're doing those bi-monthly mortgage payments, I suggest you be very careful and read the lines with your mortgage. Some mortgage companies have programs set up to where they can take the payment twice per month, and it calculates out. What I did one time is I thought that I would be smart and I'm not going to pay the fee for them to set it up. I just figured I would be sending in my money every 2 weeks, which would equal. And what they were doing is they were not advancing my pay. They were advancing my payment as opposed to reducing my principal at the time. So it was basically defeating the purpose of what I wanted to do. And I actually had to call the mortgage company and say, wait a minute, this is what I'm doing. How are we not doing this? So make sure you're doing that. And
sure,
if
it's going to principal, right?
Right. I needed going toward the principal to reduce my principal, not to be making my payments ahead of time.
Yeah.
So the other thing that you need to also do is be sure that you, like right now, I encourage everyone to call whoever has their mortgage and ask them what are their current rates. Because right now you can do the refinancing. Refinancing now are below 3% on a 30-year mortgage and the same for a 15-year. Everybody's saying go for a 15-year. I'm like, amortize mine out for the 30 years just in case life gets tight. I still got a 30-year amortization, but I can pay more money and still pay it off on my own in 15.
Gotcha.
So make sure you all are checking those mortgage rates out on each of your mortgages, and that goes for your rental property and your commercial properties as well.
Awesome. Brilliant. I have worked tirelessly over the past 5 years to improve my credit and educate my children at the same time. Can you give us a couple of tips on improving your credit?
Definitely. The first step in improving your credit is to call the credit bureaus and write them and get your credit score. Because sometimes when you look at those, you can see things that may not be yours. I remember when I purchased my house, my mom's credit came up on mine. I was like, you all couldn't tell that I'm not a black female and I'm not the same age as my mama, and that's on here. She looked great, but on paper, the dates of birth are still the same, different. So you might need to know what's in your credit report. And sometimes by simply writing letters to them to dispute an account or this type thing can remove some things from your account. Sometimes you can also go over there and you might think that it's great to carry balances. You might want to start carrying lower balances because what the banks are looking at is what is your obligation? What is it that you have to pay? So you can start doing that to deal with your credit and start sending something. And if you're in a real jam financially, it is always good to communicate with your creditors because a lot of times
Yeah.
that communication makes a difference. And sometimes we can be so stressed and not wanting to deal with the issue. We don't answer creditor phone calls. We dodge their phone calls. We ignore their emails. And then all they're going to do is mess up your credit. And you won't even be able to rent you an apartment, rent a house, anything because you have really messed it up, or you've messed it up so much it's going to cost you more to rent that same apartment or buy that same car. So
You're
communication
absolutely
is
right
key.
to communicate, because I remember one time, I mean, it doesn't happen very often. I think my credit card had expired or something like that, and I just hadn't checked it. And there was a fee for a late payment or something like
Yeah,
that. And I was like, no, that can't happen on my stuff. So I called them up and I said, there's this fee here. What is this about? And they said, oh, you were late with the payment. So I said, oh, I didn't realize the credit card was expired or something happened. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Mhm.
And I said, okay, is there any way you can just remove that fee? And they said, yeah, we can remove it. And they just basically look through your history. If you're good, they will actually be very generous if you just ask the question, right?
Definitely. And that goes with late fees. It goes with overcharges. It goes with everything. And as the scripture says, you have not because you ask not. So many times you have to ask them. And this also goes with lowering the rate, even on
Yes.
your credit cards. You can call them and ask, can we lower my rate? And sometimes they say, let me take a review of your history.
Yes.
And sometimes they can lower that rate on your credit card. So lowering rates on credit cards, lowering rates on mortgages. If you notice, when we lower the rate, that lowers your monthly payment. So therefore, you're helping yourself out even in these tight times. So I suggest you call all debtors, all creditors, let all of your friends know. If you don't do anything, just call them and ask if everything can be lowered and if they can wipe out some fees. You
Yeah.
don't know what you're going to be happening. It can't hurt. Worst
And
case scenario, it stays the same.
right. And the other thing too is if you have a credit card that maybe you've had for a while, and because sometimes they just raise the rate without even any kind of not pre-warning. But if
Right.
it starts to creep up and you're just continuously paying it, just switch cards. There's always new cards coming out with some better offers or 0% transfers and so forth. Just get a new card and can't fire the other card.
Right. And anytime you're paying a bill, I suggest you call whoever you're paying a bill to and ask if you have the best rate. That
Yeah.
often happens with your cell phone. Cell phone companies are always changing their rates. And if you've been in that plan for a year or 2 years, some people have been with the
Yes.
same plan 10 years,
Right.
call them and ask what the rates are. If you're in a great plan that they no longer have and everybody else wants it, don't change it. But
Yeah.
if it's a better plan that works better for you, then change it.
I pretty
You
much
know?
do that every year. I call up my bills and my cell phone. I said, what's your current your current offer, and make sure that I get the best deal.
Right.
Let's see what else we have here. Let me take some of these comments. Amen. Pay off the house in full. Enjoy living in it. Right. Especially when it comes to a time like the COVID, where a lot of people are stressed about finances and so forth. Not having a mortgage, not having a car pay is just like you don't have to stress out. You don't have to stress. So
Right.
let's see what else do we have here. Ba, 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 ba. Which credit card? Yeah, there's one that Dr. Salters alluded to earlier, where you can get lots of cash back and bonuses, points, and all sorts of things. Yes, I'm getting points, says Danette.
And you
Well,
can, and Google is your friend. You can Google best credit card for whatever it is that's
uh-huh.
important to you. So if you Google that, then that will bring up some credit cards.
Remember that when you have outstanding debt, your debt to income ratio is disproportionate.
What we're talking about there is when you're even going to buy a house, they're looking at what's your debt ratio is what they refer to that. And that's your total monthly debt divided by your total monthly income, not your gross income, but your net income, what you bring home. And if that is too high, it will cause you to be disqualified or have to pay more money when you're borrowing. So that is correct. That's called your debt ratio. You can also Google that if you want to go deeper into what constitutes your debt ratio.
Yes, Althea Asu used to be a banker as well.
Okay,
So
great.
a debit card is linked directly to your checking account. The account may be the account that you pay your everyday bills from. That's right. So debit cards are not as safe. What else do we have here? It gives you an extra month at the end of the year. Oh, well, I guess that's a doubling up on your mortgage
Right.
payment, I guess.
Yeah.
When you pay extra on your debt, make sure that you state that you want the extra payment to go to principal only. There's a slight delay. That's why these are coming in sort of after the fact.
No problem.
Debbie Banner, whenever I double up, I specifically request that the additional amount goes towards the principal. Yep, that definitely. Who was that? That was Marcia Demers, very, very smart with money as well. I did that too, and it worked for me perfectly. I think that was probably requesting a reduction. And you can also request an increase in your credit cards if you want to improve your credit score. Right? Would you
Yes.
agree to that?
Yes, you can also ask to increase, but when you're doing those, have a purpose for it and then, well, when you increase it, it will show in terms of the credit score that you have more available credit that you're not using. But don't fall into the trap, and you know yourselves and whether or not you're disciplined to do it. You know, if you were maxing out the card at 10,000, you increase it to 15,000. Now you're maxing out to 15. I don't know whether that's the direction that you want to
No,
go.
that's
But if you have a $10,000 limit and you have a dollar balance and you want to increase the credit, okay, ask them if they can increase it to 15. You know, who knows?
yeah. Okay, so let's see. Ask and you will receive. That's right. Oh, we have a long one here. I have a brokerage account at my bank. I keep money there for savings and to purchase stocks. I was thinking of transferring money from savings to brokerage and get rid of the savings account. What's your advice on this? Keep the savings for emergency fund?
Okay, this is one of those kind of things. It all depends. When your brokerage account, I don't know what type of investments that you're having. I don't know what your risk tolerance is. If you have it in tremendously risky or volatile investments and a emergency comes up, your principal may not be there. But if you have it in a brokerage account that's getting a money market, which is basically paying peanuts for interest, it wouldn't matter whether it was in your brokerage account in the very low risk or whether it's in the savings. Neither one of those are getting funds. And one thing that you may wish to do is say, hey, I'm going to use my credit card for my emergency funds, leave the balances off of the credit card. So if an emergency comes, you have your money invested in your brokerage account. You got it out there working for you. And when that emergency occurs, you use the credit card. And then when things go, you can deal with the timing of your investments and pay that from some other source. So therefore, you're using other people's money to deal with that in the eventuality of that emergency.
Emergency, yeah. Somebody asked, do not use, oh, it's not a question, it was a statement. Do not use more than 30% of your credit line, says one person.
Yeah. And now Facebook user, I was wondering any reason we didn't identify so we could know who you are so we could stay in contact?
So what it is if people are accessing this live from my private Facebook group, it shows as Facebook user. If they haven't given permission to Facebook to show their name.
Okay.
They literally have to go to, I think it's streamyard.com/Facebook and indicate that you want your name to be shown. And I can
Okay, right.
see,
I think you sent that out early on your thing. Okay, I saw
yeah,
that.
I can actually see, if I look over to my Facebook group, I can see who left that comment. Just give me
No
1 second.
problem.
Let me just click one thing here. Let us know. Well, I have to turn the sound down on that. Okay, and then I can see all the comments from that side as well. So let me see who was that. What was that comment? Ba, 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 ba. What was that comment? Oh, the 30% thing. That was Debbie Banner. Okay,
Oh, okay.
I think. All right, so I think we are almost at the end of the questions. I'm going to circle back to you after I just make sure I've done all of this. Debit card definitely not safe. I was just in Dakar, Senegal, and both my bank cards were compromised. Wow, yeah.
And on that, I will tell people whenever you're going to some place that is unfamiliar or that is a high risk, I do not use my debit card at places that if that is higher chances of me being tampered with. Whereas if that would have been your credit card, all they could have dealt with was your credit, and then the bank would have been liable for any losses happened. It wouldn't have tied up all of your personal funds in your checking account, savings account, and other accounts that your debit card is tied to.
Joe McLeod, welcome to the show, my dear. She is into credit repair, I believe. Too many inquiries is a no-no, a big no-no.
Correct. Because what happens, it's kind of like anything in life. If you got a whole lot of inquiries and no takers, something must be wrong. So therefore, in the credit world, if you go out there and you go to every car lot and you're having them run your credit, when that fifth or sixth car lot looks at it, they're like, why is it that the first 10 or 15 said no? Then I'm not going to miss some. No, you got too many inquiries. You just not, nah, that's just not good.
Right.
Mhm.
If you have investment accounts, it is beneficial to. So I think this is the question. If you have investment accounts, it is beneficial to get financial checkups often to make sure that market changes will not affect you negatively, says Althea. Okay. All right. 30 to 35% of line of credit, Joma here. Yes, indeed, Joma. We should have you on the show, Joma, at some point to talk about credit some more. Money is numbers. Numbers is okay. All right. I think I did see one thing to do with California. Debit card are definitely not safe. Just last week, both my bank card were compromised. That's the same. That's the same
But
as.
they said someone was in California or something to where they have the identity theft, but someone was ordering things on both cards in California.
It from
Now,
California.
this is one thing that you'll look at, and this is one thing in law enforcement. And this is some of the things that you look at as identity theft. Even when you have it, you have some cards. Sometimes you go to some gas stations, some restaurants. You've seen it to where some restaurants have had it where the waiters or waitresses have gotten the credit cards and this type thing. And that's where you've seen some restaurants now where they have the machines that they bring to the table to reduce the chances of that identity theft, them being accused of that by their waiters and waitresses. Because all they need to do is get your card number or what's on the back, and they can be doing that. Like, think about it. When you order off of Amazon, it's not like you have to have the physical card. All you're doing is plugging in information, get the zip code that they're living in, the billing zip code, and the security number, and you're off and running. So that's why you should be guarding your cards and that type of stuff. They no longer have to be like old school where they had to have a card and had to run it over a little Xerox thing and clip it down. No, it's all electronic now. So that's why you have to keep your cards close.
Okay, so can you bring this home for us, Dr. Salters, and wrap this up for us?
Definitely. Once again, I want to thank you for having me on here. I've enjoyed having the conversation with you all because as we often talk about, and you've heard me say, success is options. So when you're having your finances and you have each of those dollars, you have the option to assign them things to do, or the option to let them do whatever they want to do. But remember, you cannot fail to plan, because when you fail to plan, then you have basically failed to plan. So
Yeah.
everything is going to go sideways. So what I want you to do is go out there this week. I want you, just for 1 week, I want you to monitor and write down where every dollar goes.
Mhm.
I don't care what it is you spend, write down where every dollar goes. And at the end of the week, look back and see what percentage of your dollars went where, so you can see what's most important to you. I also want you to go out there. I need you to call everyone that you pay a bill to see if you can reduce your credit card rates, to see if you can increase your credit card
Mm.
limits, to see if you can decrease your mortgage interest. It may be a refinance, but sometimes that is really worth it. If you can go from, I financed last year and I was at 3.65. Now this year they're telling me I can go down to 2.75. That makes
Wow.
a difference.
Yeah.
So what you need to do, that can change your monthly payments. That can help you survive. And many times you don't have to pay the money out of your pocket. They can just throw it back into the mortgage. So whatever you have to do that. And also on your cell phone bills, be sure to call those cell phone companies and see if you're in the best plan for you. Because we're trying to help you get from where you are to where you're wanting to be. And anytime you're needing any information and you're needing to find out where to do stuff, make sure to tune back in there to Melissa. She can get you all connected with whatever you need to do. And if she doesn't have it, she can connect you with others. I greatly appreciate all your time here. I am Dr. Gregory A. Salters, and you all have been seasoned for success.
I love that, I love that outro. Everybody, this is Dr. A. Salters. He has a show. Tell us about your show, Doctor.
On Wednesday nights, I come on. It's about 7:30 on Wednesday nights. I like to come in. We're talking about success, leadership, and I often talk about a lot of things connected with law enforcement, since there's such a stress between law enforcement and the community. So I like to come in, discuss those issues. I like to talk about success and leadership, how we go from where we are to where we need to go. Because as I often tell people, I want to do whatever I can to help you get there. And like I said, all of us are entrepreneurs. And my life motto is, my philosophy is, if I can help somebody, as I pass along the way, my living will not be in vain. So I know when I'm in good company here with Melissa, because we're all about helping others get to where they need to get. But tune in, connect with me on Facebook, Dr. Gregory A. Salters. You can connect with me also dealing with on YouTube, and also I have my own business page on YouTube, and also on LinkedIn. Let's get together and go to that next level.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Dr. A. Salters. It's been absolutely wonderful speaking to you. I knew this was going to be worth the wait. It's just as exactly, or actually more than I expected. So thank you for engaging with our audience. Everybody had a great time. I heard somebody say that this was really, really good. So again, thank you so much. And I will see you soon. Okay. Have a
All right.
wonderful
Take
night.
care, and y'all have a good evening.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. That was Dr. A. Salters giving us some wonderful gems, some knowledge of information on finances. So much packed in there. You're going to have to watch it back. I'm sure that you didn't catch everything. I know that I'm going to have to watch it back. I got my notepads going, but there's the two challenges that he had for us was to write down everything that we're spending during at least 1 week, and then the second thing was to call our creditors, call our bills, the institutions that are taking our money every month, and ask for lower rates, or just make sure that you're getting the best deal for all of your credit and so forth. Okay. What a great show. I love this one. It was absolutely amazing. Let's see all the feedback. Let him go. Excellent information. Thanks, Dr. Salters, for providing a wealth of knowledge. Marcia says, "What is the name of your show, Dr. Salters?" I can bring him back up if you want to come back up, Dr. Salters. I can bring you. What's the name of your show, Dr. Salters?
We like to just call it the Salt Mine. We're seasoned for success, and that's what the name of my business is: the Salt Mine Success and Leadership Training Institute. And that's where we have listen, when we talk about how things are divinely ordered, I look at, and I've always wanted to be into success and leadership. And then when I looked at it, I said, man, success and leadership, that's the first four letters in my name: success and leadership training.
Oh, look
Salt.
at
So
that.
therefore, you have it, the Salt Mine Success
I
and
love
Leadership
it.
Training.
I absolutely love it. Dropped a number of gems. We just love it here. Um, I have the best audience. You guys, you are the best. I tell you, my audience are just the best. Um, Fantastic wealth of information. I thank you, being a blessing. I gotta let you see all this stuff. And afterwards, Dr. Salters, if you could just go back and if anybody has any questions, feel free to just respond to them as well. All
Okay, and
right.
just so everybody knows, one of those kind of things when they ask about starting a business, Melissa, and you were saying, should you just start a small one or a big one? I want to be completely transparent because I want people to understand what it is to be in a business. When you really look out there, a sole proprietorship, you don't even really have to fill out paperwork. You just start doing and operating as a business and writing off the business expenses that you have because that's dealing with your Schedule C on your tax return. You Schedule C and let's go.
Okay.
And LLCs don't cost thousands of dollars to get
Right.
started. It's register your name with the state of Florida on SunBiz, fill out a couple forms, and wow, you have an LLC.
You have a business just like that, right?
Right. And that's one of the things that I'll tell people. I have been speaking and teaching and getting paid for that since 2001. I did not form my LLC until 2017. So
Really?
you begin to look at things. How are you really defining a business? You
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
so we have to really educate people on that. And sometimes you can be duped into thinking you have to spend thousands of dollars with attorneys and set up big corporations and all.
Uh-huh.
That's not necessary.
Okay.
There are different levels of business ownership, different ways that you organize your business and go about it. But the advantages of business ownership are always there. And I know that'll be a whole nother show. And I know you're probably going to do some things.
My mind is going. I'm thinking, okay, we should probably have you back in a little while, and we talk about just business alone, setting up your business, and just some of the things about that.
Yes, and it's interesting when people talk about it. I'm sure people in your audience also talk about real estate and owning real estate. I have not been into real estate, and that's one area that I need to get into because you start talking about it. When you buy real estate property, because it is a property and it is a business, you are depreciating it from a tax standpoint. But most property normally increases in value. So what you're doing is really increasing your net worth. And if you notice, most individuals that have significant wealth, their wealth is in real estate. We
Yeah.
had all of these individuals that were getting arrested on the federal level and this type of stuff. What was it that the IRS was seizing from them?
Right.
Their real estate holdings.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
those are what you really need to be looking at. That is there. That's going to get you to that next level. So talk to some individuals. And when you connect with Melissa, you connect with me on Facebook, you'll begin to see some of our friends and some of those individuals that are with us are experts in all of these areas that we're discussing.
Yes, this 2017, you got 2021, sorry. 2021 is just going to be incredible. I want to have more people like Dr. Salters on the show who are just excellent in my opinion. Somebody said something here. Where is it? Dr. Salters is at another level. Very nice compliment there. Novelty
I
said, "So
appreciate that.
true. My business is not an LLC, just a sole proprietorship, still very advantageous." There was one thing I wanted to also ask you, Dr. Salters. Do you have anything else that you want to tell us about as far as any programs? Do you have a book? Do you have anything else that you would like to share?
I'm glad you asked. That's one of the things that a lot of people have been asking me about because I have done some classes and what I like doing are masterminds. And so what I was thinking about doing is getting with you and we might do a mastermind that's just open to your audience where we can just have them in that mastermind. And masterminds are normally running from anywhere from 5 to 8 weeks and they'd be like an hour long where we get on here and it might be one, I might do one if we're talking about connecting and how we really need to connect as a community and it can be based on some John C. Maxwell books. Everyone communicates, few connect. We can deal with 21 laws of leadership. What is it that we really need to do? So as we're talking about things from the book, we can bring out specific things that are particular to your audience, or we can open it up and have people in there. It's been working a couple different ways I've done them. And
Okay.
before I've done some that have been in person and now at this virtual environment, it allows us to bring more people in there, get more diverse opinions and that type of stuff. So we can definitely talk
Yeah,
about those if that's
let's
something
talk
the
about.
audience would like.
I wanted to also acknowledge Eddie Joseph. Looks like that's a friend of yours. He was saying, "Good to see you, sir."
Yes, I met him through Nadia.
Oh, okay, nice, nice. All right. I think with that, I'm just going to play one more thing, and I'm going to actually say goodnight again to you, Dr. Salters, and I'm going to just play my quick commercial before you go. Let me just remind you guys, if you're interested in any of my my teaching as far as digital marketing, get in touch with me. I currently have a free ebook. It's called 5 reasons why you need an email list now and how to get started with that. And then I also have some freebies. Go to melissajane.com, and let me just put that link up on the screen. melissajane.com for information on that. And I also do have Dr. Salter's website. Dr. Salter's is drgregoryAsalters.com, and link with him there. He's got a beautiful website. You can find out all of his information and so forth. All right, I think with that, any further things before I say goodnight again?
I have nothing. I've enjoyed it. I greatly appreciate you allowing me to speak with your audience. I know it's kind of like I tell people, it's kind of like the preacher. He has to be careful about who he allows in his pulpit. So I greatly appreciate you allowing me in your social media pulpit.
All right. Thanks again. Have a good night, Dr. Salters. All right, everybody. That's my show tonight. It's been absolutely amazing. I loved every single minute of it. And I will see you guys next week, same time, 8 o'clock, until whenever we finish. And just check out this quick ad before I go. All right. Have a good night, everybody. 5 reasons why you need an email list now and how to get started. Grab hold of my free ebook at melissajane.com.
I just wanna